Thank you, Mick, again for joining us on Not the Andrew Marr Show for your third
Yeah,
update from Palestine. Now, the last time we spoke to you, you were in the Hebron Hills, I believe,
that's right. South Hebron Hills. Yes, yes,
and we heard about how you'd been in a few altercations with the Israeli army, and one of which you were put on your knees and your hands behind your head, and a gun put to your
yes,
head. And
yes,
also,
yes,
you had some live ammo was fired near you at another occasion. So, I mean, it's
yes.
a pretty scary situation. Um, can you give us an update? What happened after we last spoke? So, you were in the Hebron Hills. What happened?
Yeah. Well, the main thing is I've had to relocate from the South Hebron Hills in a bit of a hurry. This was about 2 weeks ago. Um, what happened was one of my colleagues, one of the Solidarity Movement colleagues, was detained when she was in a village and was recording, videoing a house demolition by the army. The army turned up this village with bulldozers to demolish a couple of structures, a couple of houses. She was filming it. She got seized by the army and arrested, and she was charged with the spurious charges of supporting terrorism, quite serious charges. Charged of supporting terrorism, of trying to prevent the army from carrying out their legal duties, and a few other things. And within the space of 2 days, she'd been deported without proper due process. Um, Now, what lies behind this is an attempt by the government, by the Israeli government, to remove all human rights observers, human rights activists, from the areas where ethnic cleansing is being carried out very violently by gangs of terrorist Israeli settlers. So the Israeli government is determined to remove people, independent observers from the area, starting with international observers such as people from activists from ISM. So my colleague was deported. So we heard that very soon after that, the army and the police were actively looking for myself and another colleague. So we had to get out of the area quickly and relocate to another place in the West Bank, which I'd rather not say where we are, just in case. But to another place, it's much safer place in the West Bank. So we had to leave in a hurry, and it's a good job we did, because over the following 2 or 3 days, the army and police were going around to all the villages where we'd been at, to the main village where I'd been staying at, looking for us. If we'd been there, we would have been arrested, and we would very likely have also been deported as well. So we've had to relocate away from there, which is about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
It's a real shame, because that area, the South Hebron Hills, and in particular the area we were at, a place called Masafa Yatta, the activities of the illegal settlers, the violent activities of the illegal settlers, together with the Israeli occupation forces, have been proceeding at an even greater pace than they were a few weeks ago. There's been a number of house demolitions as well. They've started up again, and that's for the first time since the start of the war. Just last night, in one of the villages we used to go to, a place called Calais or Daba, in the South Hebron Hills, a group of 50 settlers, mostly wearing army uniforms, heavily armed, turned up, caused mass destruction in the village, beat up six of the men, tore down walls, because that village was renowned for its political graffiti on the walls. They were absolutely beautiful stuff, great slogans. And they were all badly damaged. Houses were ransacked. Water supply systems were destroyed. Food stocks and kitchens were just maliciously damaged. And that was by a gang of 50 armed settlers with army uniforms on. It's very difficult to differentiate between who's a settler and who's a member of the army. So the events are proceeding. The violence. Ethnic cleansing is happening, but is going on apace. There's been abductions of people where they've been taken to settlements and beaten. So it's continuing on in the West Bank as a whole now. I think I just had the figures today from the Palestinian Health Ministry. There's been 266 Palestinians killed by either the Israeli occupation forces or settlers over the past, since the 7th of October, and that includes 63 children. So the situation is still very bad. There's no indication that it's lessening. Although I think one of the big changes is that the Israeli government is worried. It's trying to reclaim the narrative. There's been a lot of publicity, thanks to people such as yourself, Crispin, as well as different other media outlets and newspapers, from exposing the true nature of what's happening in the West Bank in terms of the violent ethnic cleansing. And I think it's really irked the Israeli government. They're trying to regain control of the narrative, which is to say that the settlers are by and large peaceful people. They just want to get on with their lives. It's absolute rubbish. And so one of the things you need to do in order to achieve that is to kick out all of the international observers, so they can carry on with their ethnic cleansing in secret.
And you see, move from the South Hebron Hills to somewhere safer. I'm just curious because I don't really know this, and it'd be good to hear for people as well as me who don't understand it. Is the West Bank, has it got safe places for Palestinians, and does it then have not so safe places? Are there any safe places for Palestinians on the West Bank?
That's a very good question. No, there aren't. Basically, the answer is no. I mean, since the Oslo Accords in 1963, the West Bank was divided into 3 areas: Area A, B, and C. Area A is normally under the control of the Palestinian Authority. Area B is mixed control between the Palestinian Authority and Israeli authorities. And Area C is under direct Israeli military control. Now, the area under Palestinian control, which is where the main administrative and economic capital, Ramallah, is, and where the Palestinian Authority is based, is normally safer, but only in the sense that there isn't the likelihood, or as much of a likelihood of being invaded by Israeli occupation forces. But that does happen, as we're just saying in Ramallah. The force has been coming in quite often over the past few days. So there isn't any place which is really safe for Palestinians. There's areas where people are more unsafe, and that's definitely Area C, which is under direct military control. And it's within Area C where the South Hebron Hills is, and also most of the Jordan Valley, another area where there's been a lot of ethnic cleansing due to the activities of settlers. So simple answer, nowhere is safe. Some places are marginally less dangerous than others.
So, I mean, that just sounds... So in say, Ramallah, the Palestinians, do they have their own police to look after that area?
They do, yes.
So what happens when they're supposed to be safeguarding the people in that area, and then the Israeli troops come in? That's bound to cause friction because they haven't got any jurisdiction, from what you're saying, over that area.
They don't, but they come in, and then there's this big issue about the role of the Palestinian Authority in terms of the degree of collusion with the Israeli occupation forces. So my understanding is that there's advance notification given by the Israelis when they want to make a raid into somewhere like Ramallah, and so police forces will be withdrawn from the immediate vicinity where they're going to go. It's a very weird situation. But even under Area A, which is normally under the control of the Palestinian Authority, the Israelis can disregard that at any time they want, and can come in if they want to, which they have been doing on numerous occasions since the 7th of October, to detain people, arrest people. They do that with complete impunity. So for Palestinians living in Area A, doesn't really give any protection against the Israeli occupation forces.
We're obviously interested to find out how you are, and also when are you coming back? Are you planning to come back before Christmas as you had thought before?
No,
no,
I don't think I will be. No, I don't think so. No, I've told my family so. I was worried about telling my sisters about this because I knew they would be naturally disappointed. But because I've got the option, because my visa has been extended, as with all visitors, visas have been extended till early February. I plan to stay until until I can, until visa allows me to. So that'll be until end of January, beginning of February. Unless something happens that I get deported before that, of course, which I don't want to happen. But yeah, so I'm planning on staying until end of January, early February.
Obviously, we're all rooting for you out there, and it's good to see Jeremy do a part of your text to him. He read it out in London at the protest.
He's a solid guy, Jeremy. Yeah. He's a lifelong supporter of the Palestinian cause. Yeah, he's a good one. It's been phenomenal, hasn't it? I mean, I think there's been 3 big demonstrations in London now, with at least 1.6, 1.7 million people in total. Plus demonstrations going on all over the country, including my hometown. Very creative ways of expressing solidarity. It's just a huge rift, if you like, between the mass of people who are actually outraged at what is happening, what the Israelis are doing, and outraged at what our government is doing. It's a rift between ordinary, decent people and what the government is ploughing ahead with saying and supporting. Yeah, it's. But these international solidarity shows of international solidarity are so important, Crispin, because people over here see them, and that solidarity is really gives people extra resolve. So they really value it. So it's really important to do.